Hey everybody, how's it going? So I had my meeting that I was dreading having with I shouldn't say landlord of my building because it's not really a landlord, it's a co-op. And the co-op has a management company. Whoa, this is scary. Whoa, 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 whoa. Two-way street with a truck blocking the path. Beautiful. Anyway, what was this? Oh my god. So there was a meeting with I guess, some of the higher ranking members on the board of the co-op and the management company that they utilize to discuss. And as I've said, look, this dude is texting, that's why the bus was honking. I don't know if you guys saw that. The guy in the Nissan Altima over there was texting while he was driving, and he was doing that thing where he's like going 2 miles an hour because he doesn't want to hit somebody. But you're still going to hit somebody if you're texting while you're driving and not looking at the road. You just hit them at 2 miles an hour. So it's not as big a deal, but it still is technically hitting them, and it is also a highly lame thing to do. But anyway, what was I saying? So I had a meeting, and I told them, like, listen, the price that you ask per square foot is honestly very reasonable. That's why I'm looking at other places. I'm not even asking you to lower your price, because honestly, asking you to lower your price, it's going to be fucking insulting. You could likely rent this place out to somebody else for the price that you're asking me for right now and have a tenant tomorrow. You probably could. Maybe you could. Like $66.66 a square foot, unless you're somebody who is very religious or very superstitious, is honestly a good deal. And so they kind of offered me a little bit off the rent, and they said, but if you decide to leave at the end of it, we won't forgive it. So let's say we give you $2,000 off your rent. Let's say we take $2,000 off, right? We take $2,000 off, and in 1 year, if you decide to stay and go back to paying full price, we forgive the $2,000 we gave you off the rent. However, if in 1 year you decide that you wish to leave, if you want to leave in a year, then that $2,000 we took off your rent, you will now owe. So let's say that would be $24,000. So not only would you know, so now the discount that we gave you for that year is gone. So it wasn't really much of a discount, and it was also a term that if I decide to leave at the end of it because it doesn't make sense to be here, that it wouldn't be a discount at all. And like I said, listen, I understand where you're coming from. Again, this is an expensive building. You got upkeep and all that stuff. It don't make sense. It just I appreciate it. I'm gonna continue my search. I prefer not to move into some shitty walk-up building. Steve had a how do I put this? A non-aspirated Pfizer vaccine needle-induced heart attack the other day. So having him help me carry shit up the stairs would not be particularly nice. I'd be doing a lot of the carrying. Probably Paul and I would be doing most of the carrying. Listen, I'm not looking forward to doing that. But I mean, again, these spaces we're looking at, they're shitholes. Let's be clear, they're shitholes. But $5,000 a month, again, if I'm going to save this much money, yeah, I'll do it. Makes sense. And I left, and then I got a call back agreeing to one of the terms that I had suggested, that I said I'm not even going to ask for because it's just insulting. And this is one of the things I've noticed over the course of my life, is that I'm a horrible negotiator. I think that my negotiating is completely autistic in terms of I don't actually try to negotiate. Like, they say, here's what we want, and I just say, listen, like, instead of bargaining, you're supposed to go back and forth and bargain. And instead of bargain, I just go, listen, honestly, what you're asking for seems kind of fair, but I don't think it works for me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And I leave. And then as I'm walking out the door, they're like, oh, no, wait. And to be clear, here, it wasn't a wait thing. It was just them calling back a few days later to say, we accept what you offered. But that's what I've noticed throughout the course of my life. Like, the autistic Asperger's in negotiating is 10 times better than any of that, striking a hard bargain or that Frank Underwood and House of Cards bullshit. Like, that's never worked for me. It really doesn't. Like, I think people like to think that works because it makes them feel tough and in control, and they like to say, we struck a hard bargain and we strong-armed them, and at the end of the day, none of that shit's ever worked for me. Like, it genuinely never has. Whether it's dealing with a customer, or whether it's dealing with a landlord, or whether it's dealing with a supplier, like, the only thing that's ever worked for me is just saying, I respect what you're offering, thank you so much, it's actually quite generous, I just don't think it's the best thing for me at this point in time, I'm going to try something else. And they go, what do you mean? Where are you going to get your parts from? I don't know, I'll figure it out. What do you mean? Where are you gonna like? What are you gonna do? I don't know. I'll figure it out, man. But I appreciate it. It just doesn't work. And then look, and then they come back. Now, obviously the problem with this is that this really only solves the problem for 1 year. This does not solve my problem permanently because the arrangement that I came to is an arrangement for 1 year. So it is. So I bought myself a year where I don't have to worry about moving the Manhattan business. I don't really have to worry about moving it, and I don't have to worry about having to let people go if the people that don't want to move with me don't want to move. You know, I don't have to worry about having a separate mail-in and walk-in location for 1 year. So I got 1 year, and even if I do want to open somewhere else, even if we do say fuck it, doesn't make sense to be in the city, this is nonsensical. I have 1 year of my life to prepare for that. So one of the things that I've decided is in terms of my residence, I do not want to wait for I don't want to wait for my business to not be here, for me to not be here. I would like to be able to have a place that I can go to that is not New York City, just to get my mind out of a New York City kind of state of mind every now and then. And I'd like to own a home outside of New York City. So one thing I'd like to do is buy a home in a place that I consider to be peaceful. Some place that I can always consider mine. Something that even if my business fails, I got a place I could come home to that isn't, you know, some building that I'm renting where I could get kicked out at any given time. I don't know if you guys saw how crazy the apartment market is right now, but it's an absolutely crazy apartment market right now. People are offering 30 to 40% over asking. Fuck you, you cunt. Suck a dick. Alright. What was I saying? That guy had his horn on for a good 5 seconds. Like, there's no fucking point to that. You honk and that's it. You don't keep your horn on for 5 to 10 seconds. That just makes you a cunt that deserves to have your fucking window bashed in. I can do it too, asshole. See? I can honk at a red light too, you dumb cunt. Look, this is actually a red light. They're actually honking at a red light. Like the stupidity of the cunts that drive in this city. It astounds me. Yes, you cunt. He actually looked at me because he had his window open. He looked at me while I was looking back. Yes, you're a stupid cunt. If you're honking at a red light, that's fucking you. Oh, what a dumb bitch. Actually honking at a red light outside of a school zone. Yeah, let's just run over the children so that you get to work 5 minutes faster. Oh my God. It's hysterical. It's not even road rage, it's just road laughing. My pulse has not increased at all. I just laugh at the stupidity of it all. Because I don't have that thing where I actually kick your car or key it or scratch it or I become personally angry at it. I just like yelling curses at people that do stupid shit. And it's often it's more like road comedy than road rage. Because road rage, you get angry. Road comedy is where you just look at the fucking stupidity of drivers in this stupid city and you just laugh at it because it's funny. And by the way, at the end of all the honking, who is at the front of the line? The electric bicycle. Exactly. The electric bicycle will always be at the front of the line because it can go in between all of your fucking stupidity. Now, so with the apartment market being where it is, you have a lot of houses, a lot of apartments where people are paying 30 to 40% over asking price, and I don't got a lease. My apartment is month to month, so my landlord could say, hey man, I know you pay for $2,000 a month. Somebody wants to pay $3K a month, get the fuck out next month, and I'm screwed. So I kind of want to have a home, someplace where I can't be kicked out of, that's mine, regardless of whether I have a business in the city or not, regardless. So I've kind of always looked at it in terms of, well, in order to, I've always dreamed of having a business that had mail-in business, because having a business with mail-in income means that I could move it anywhere, which means that I don't have to live in this city. However, the one thing that I got wrong when I was doing that, the one thing I got wrong when I was looking for, when my path out of New York City was based on whether or not I have mail-in business versus walk-in business, was I was always assuming that I was going to be the one doing every single repair. So back then, when I started pushing for more mail-in business, I I started doing ads online around 2009. It was 2009 that I started posting my stuff online. In 2013 that I made a much more concerted push for mail-in business. Back then, I was the one doing all the repairs. So, every screwdriver that got turned was me. Every component that got soldered was me. So the one thing that was necessary for me to be able to reside outside of New York City, my escape plan was really dependent on me having mail-in business versus walk-in. Now, I actually have what I wanted. I finally achieved that goal. Mail-in business is about 50 to 60% of the income of the company. I mean, not of the company, I shouldn't say that. Because we sell stuff online, we have the forum, and there's other shit that we do other than just repairs. That makes money. But when it comes to repairs, over 50% of it is mail-in. So that kind of means, okay, we win, right? But as my mail-in business grew, so did the people that worked here. And then it got to the point where I was the only one turning the screwdriver in my hunt for mail-in repair, to 12 other people soldering and turning the screwdriver. Which actually puts you right back where you started, because those people are going to be people that want to, retain their existing homes. They want to retain their existing arrangements. They want to retain living near their family. They want to retain living near their friends, retain their kids going to the same school and all that shit. So then it kind of shifts the goalpost from the ability to leave New York City is less about having mail-in business you could take with you, but rather you have people that are able to. You see how that guy stopped, by the way? The light was green for me. It was green for me and red for him, but he still stopped like he was absolutely fucking stunned that I was traveling. I love that when it happens. It then comes down to whether or not I need to be here every single day. And one of the things that I've noticed as I put more effort into repair preservation group, as I was putting effort into repair preservation group and other things instead of my business, is that I honestly don't have to be there. I used to show up every day and just sit there, manage, check shit. But in the beginning of the year, when I started putting time and effort into the nonprofit, I was just staying at home because I didn't need to show up to my office to put time into the nonprofit. And while I was doing that, I realized that it kind of ran without me. So I'd like to have a residence outside of New York City, but somewhere close enough that I could commute in from time to time to see how things are going. And that's why I chose New Hampshire. You could have an affordable house right outside of a pond. I could live affordably right outside of a pond, have no state income tax, every now and then pop in and see how things are going. I could show up for those repair workshops from time to time, but I got a place that I own. So that was kind of my plan there. But I got 1 year, and in 1 year we'll see. If business is popping in New York City again and those repair workshops do incredibly well, and people sign up for the courses, then I keep everybody at this location just fine. And if a year comes and walk-in business is absolute shit, New York City is a steaming dumpster fire still, there's less walk-in business, nobody gives a fuck about those repair workshops I plan on doing, at that point I revisit the idea of having a separate mail-in and walk-in location where mail-in is in New Hampshire and walk-in is in New York City, and I see how many people I can get to move, or I just say fuck it and only have a walk-in, only have a mail-in location somewhere else. Because one thing that I've noticed is that the price of real estate in New York City has not really gone down at all. If anything, it has continued its ascent upwards for office space and for commercial space. It doesn't really matter about the shift to work from home. It doesn't really matter that so many businesses have been tossed out of business. It doesn't matter how vacant the space is. None of that matters. The law of supply and demand does not exist in New York City when it comes to real estate. The prices are as sticky as can be, and they never change. So even if I wanted to get a cheaper place, good luck with that. Again, I would be looking at a considerable downgrade. I would be looking at a third floor walk-up being above a massage parlor that gives happy endings kind of thing. And is that the future I want for my business? Not really, but I don't really know what the future holds for my business, honestly. There are so many things that used to be profitable that just aren't profitable anymore. Like take MacBook screens. We used to buy MacBook screens for 58 to 90 bucks. 58 to 90 bucks. Now they cost like 350 to 500 bucks for an assembly, and some of them for the new machines you can't even get at all. You know, I mean, that used to be a profit center. Buy screens for 75 bucks, replace for 200 to 300 or whatever, make money. That's gone. That's gone. So like, now we have board repair as a profit center, but with a lot of the new machines, how do I know if I'm going to be able to get access to the chips? You don't really figure it out for a year or two. So like screens and motherboard repair used to be like 50-50. So 50% of the profit was in doing screen repair, and like the other 50% from board repair. And like 50% of it over the past few years literally just got chopped. By the way, you see all the traffic on the right? It's literal standstill traffic. And there's so many people stuck down there that are literally in gridlock traffic and can't move. Well, I'm going 25 miles an hour. Again, having a car in New York City sucks. It sucks. It's horrible. But having a bike is beautiful. You have freedom. A car is not freedom. In New York City, a car is prison. A car is a tiny prison, an expensive prison. So I'm looking at the prospect of getting a home that has a medium-sized living room. I want to have a home with a medium-sized living room for my stereo so that I can come home, I can enjoy my speakers, I can walk outside, I can look at a pond, I can enjoy the pond to the lake, I can have a little drone that goes in the pond to the lake. I like those little remote-controlled boats. Well, not drones, so those little remote-controlled boats that you can put on the pond to the lake. I think that'd be really cool to have. Cut through here, nothing illegal about that. I used to ask my dad, what does it mean when the light is red both ways? And he would tell me that means you could go diagonally. I think he was fucking with me. I'm pretty sure he was fucking with me when I was a kid. It's a good thing I never tested that theory, because if I did, I'd probably be dead. But it's strange, I just tested it with a motor vehicle. Anyway, it worked. I'm not dead. Whoa, are you turning left? Oh, you see that Toyota? He kind of started veering a little bit left without turning on his turn signal. I instinctively braked. I try to avoid using two-way roads anytime I'm using my e-bike, because I do not trust people in New York City to use a turn signal when they turn. That's asking too much. Asking somebody, but he wasn't turning. He just wanted to align himself in his lane, but still, the instant reflex right there. Like the moment I see the car in front of me in a two-way street veering a little bit towards me, I assume he's turning without his turn signal, because most of the time they are. I haven't put my feet on the ground yet. I'm still just kind of balancing myself, moving 1 mile an hour. I kind of like doing that as a game. Like when I get to a red, I like trying to balance myself, staying 1 mile an hour without putting my foot on the ground. It's kind of fun. It's one of the little games that kind of keeps my head busy. So yeah, I got extra space in this business that I don't have a use for right now. Like I have 2,250 square feet. I could honestly probably get by with 1,500. So I'm going to see how this idea goes that I posted on the channel the other day. Doing these repair workshops, free to anybody who shows up, and if you want to donate, you can. You know, if that winds up, I want to see how that goes. I got a year to make that work. I got a year to make the paid classes work, and I got 1 year to drum up more walk-in business to make this worth it. And I really do want to try and make it worth it, because I don't want to have to pick and choose who doesn't come with me. Because even if I were to move my business elsewhere, and even if 100% of the people, by the way, the person crossing with the stroller, it's a red light. Very irresponsible. It's one thing if you want to jaywalk on your own. I respect it. You do you. Jaywalking with a stroller, it's like the 2-year-old kid didn't agree to die. That's kind of a shit thing to do. Shit parent right there, in my opinion. But, and again, I don't have kids. But still, I don't think you need kids to point out when someone's being a shit parent. What was I saying? So I got like even if 100% of the people chose to move, I would lose 50% of the business. So I wouldn't be able to take everybody. I'd have to pick and choose who doesn't come with. Because there's no area that I go to that would have the walk-in business that New York City does. There's a lot of areas that would have, there are areas I could move to that with some walk-in business, but there is no city in America where you have 8.5 million people in an area the size of Knoxville, Tennessee. And if you decide to count the people that live in Jersey City and Newark and everything else, again, you're probably looking at 15 million, 20 million people in this area. That's a lot of people. You're not going to get that anywhere else. So if I were to move, walk-in would go. I wouldn't be able to keep everybody that I have. And if I can figure out a way to keep everybody that I have, which I kind of think is partially my responsibility as their boss, then I have every responsibility to do that. And I'm happy that I was able to get started with that, with those negotiations. I'm glad that they went well. Oh my God, this road is shit. Jesus Christ. I don't know what the stabilization is like on the S10e camera. I don't know if it's actually giving you an honest representation of the road. By the way, the light is green. Stop texting. That guy was texting. And that's why the ambulance was honking at the black SUV, because the black SUV was texting instead of fucking driving. If you're at a red light, I don't know. If you're at a red light and you're texting, can you look up and down at the light and at your phone in about 2 or 3 second intervals to ensure that you at least catch the yellow? Because if you catch the yellow, you'll probably catch when it turns. It's very, very lame. It's just one of many ways that traffic gets stuck up in New York City. I'm able to hold a conversation while not getting stuck. So surely you can, if you're driving. Then again, I'm not looking down at my phone while I text because I don't want to die. If I look down on my phone right now, I'm going to wind up in some 4-inch deep pothole or get smashed into by some jackass that doesn't use a turn signal or God knows what. Fuck if I'm looking down at my phone while riding my bike. Fuck that. No way in hell. I enjoy my life. I don't trust any of these fucking horrible drivers. These people drive almost as badly as I do. Almost. It's telling. Alright. My friend is telling me where he's from in the South, you gotta read books, you gotta take a class, you gotta do all this shit before you get your driver's license. Here, you fucking take a 2-hour course or something. Like you go to driver's ed for like 2 hours. You take a 10-minute drive around the block, you park, and then you're done. You get a license. Getting a driver's license in New York City is some of the easiest shit in the world. It really is. No skill required. None at all. Why aren't you on the right side of the road? Because it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. This is not a highway. The right side of the road is a bus lane, and the bus constantly stops. And so I don't want to be in the right lane because it's a bus lane. The middle lane would not allow me to turn very easily because I'd have cars on each side of me. So I like to be in a lane where I can escape if a car does something stupid. So for instance, let's say somebody decides to make a turn without a turn signal. In a car, I'll have a bumped car. On a bike, I'll be dead. So that gives me the choice of the right lane or the left lane. The right lane is a bus lane. The left lane is not. So it kind of gives me a bit of freedom to be able to bail out. And I like having the ability to bail out if somebody's about to smash into me. And that has happened before. That has happened before where someone is completely not cognizant of the fact that I'm next to them and is like, let me just smash that cyclist with my vehicle going 30 miles an hour. So on this side of the road, I can kind of bail out. Dr. Evil is here. Everybody say hello to Mr. Dr. Evil in the chat. I hate jaywalkers with children or pets. You know what? I didn't bring up pets, and that's a good one. I never thought of that. Mr. Clinton, I'm sorry. But yes, Again, if you jaywalk, the thing is, everybody in New York City jaywalks. They do. It's just a reality of life. And there's different forms of jaywalking. There's looking both ways before you jaywalk. There's not looking both ways and playing chicken. That's the dangerous form of jaywalking. You're like, I don't even give a shit if there's people going. I'm just gonna make my turn anyway. I think that's kind of shitty. And then you have the people that do it with kids. I think that's kind of shitty as well. Like, again, don't do it with kids. Again, the kid did not consent to taking risks. You hear that revving? From. Let's see how the brakes work here. 3, 2, 1. Nice. I didn't use all the brakes because I didn't want to destroy them all, but every now and then I just want to make sure that I can still come to a stop really quickly. Rewind the stream. I can't explain the whole thing from scratch. Maybe I'm just being salty. I can't explain the whole thing from scratch. Actually sounds like a Lamborghini though, doesn't it? Listen to that freaking revving. That's something I miss when driving an electric car, is it doesn't sound like a Lamborghini. All you get is coil whine because it's a hub motor. That's the thing about hub motors, is there's no fun. There's no fun sounds in a hub motor. All you get with a hub motor is coil whine. With a mid-drive, you get the vroom, vroom, vroom. Love mid-drive. I love that noise. It's so much fun. The fun of switching gears. Because I have just enough power in this motor. I have just enough power to be able to keep up with cars. But in order to keep up with cars with low power, I need to know exactly when to shift my gears at exactly the right time so that I keep up with traffic with the amount of power I have. Because if I'm in the wrong gear and I go to accelerate, my 0 to 20 is going to be like 5 seconds and I'm going to get tossed out of the road. Oh no. Oh no. Game of chicken, baby. You see that guy with his Arrow 7? I will smash right into that shit. I got right away, baby. Green light! I also got good brakes, but I would win that game of chicken. Yeah, when you drive an electric car over 70 or 80 miles an hour, you'll get intense coil whine. I'll hear people say that Teslas are silent. Bullshit. Bullshit. A, you have the fans for the battery, and you can hear the cooling system for the battery. But B, you have coil whine over 80 miles an hour that is highly obnoxious. I don't know if that exists in the S, but I know it exists in the 3 and the Y. It's a very obnoxious coil whine over 80 miles an hour. From. Listen to that whine, it's beautiful. I really get why people enjoy driving a manual. I just try to avoid associating the size of my dick by the transmission type that I use. But like the whole gearing and having to change gears and all that shit, like, and having to know exactly when to change them so that you have maximum efficiency, it's fun. I do find it fun, and I understand why people enjoy manual transmission vehicles. There is a fun to it. The only thing that gets me is when people pretend that the size of their penis or the size of their brain or the size of their ego has anything to do with the transmission. Like, well, so many people that drive a manual, they associate their manhood, their ego, their intelligence, their identity and the type of transmission in their vehicle are one and the same. And it's such a sign of a weak person, in my opinion. Because you see it in the comments all the time, like, I'm better because I drive a manual and blah-de-blah-de-blah. I prefer this to a hub motor on a bike, but like, it's not a part of my identity as a human being. You know, it's not a point that I would use in a dick measuring contest to demonstrate how superior I am to somebody else. That I can have a 1 or a 2,000 watt motor and keep up with traffic on the road because of my geared bike. But you see a lot of that. Admittedly, driving a geared motorcycle is a royal pain in the ass compared to this because you have a clutch. I didn't find that much fun, to be honest with you. I also didn't find it fun because of muscle memory. I can't get used to the fact that the gear shifter is on your foot pedal rather than being used by your thumb and your index finger. It's just like after 20 years of this and after years and years of having a bike with a motor and gears on my hand, every time I get on a motorcycle and I mess with it, it's like, oh God, I have to change gears with my foot? Really? Really? Oh, you're killing me with that shit. You're killing me. I tried a zero motorcycle once, and it was kind of fun. Again, you have no gears though, so it's cool. It's really fast, but don't get me wrong. A zero motorcycle absolutely kicks the ever-loving fuck out of this Frankenstein piece of shit that I'm riding right now. Like, let's be real. This is a Frankenstein piece of shit. The weight distribution is not right because I got batteries in the back. It's too long. The suspension is not as nice. It doesn't even have a rear suspension. The brake pads are about the size of your fingernail. Like, the zero motorcycle is awesome, but I kind of like, and it's way faster than this piece of shit. But I like hearing that little noise, the vroom, 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 and like hearing the pitch. Hearing the frequency and the pitch of the motor go up as I hit maximum RPM, hearing the sound of field weakening, like when you can hear field weakening start, all that shit is so much fun. There's a little bit of fun in it. You just don't get that fun when you're on a zero motorcycle. You get a different form of fun with a zero motorcycle. You get a 0 to 60 time that makes you feel considerably more alive. Yeah, I would say a zero motorcycle, 0 to 60 time, you feel way more alive than you do on this thing. But it's just not the same. I like riding my little creation. I love my little creation. This is my meme mobile. Vroom! Hello, Kevin. How are you? Yeah, I mean, it's done, no? Well, that's what I want to talk about. Yeah. Did you say what I think you just said? He said Matthew's cock. I heard that. Okay, I'll read through some chat, actually. I'm not going to read this shit while I'm on my bike, because I'll be dead. Well, let's see. Hello. Oh, wow, the entire chat is here. Very interesting. How about streaming when driving? I don't know. I can hold I don't see it as distracting to stream while driving or stream while biking. It is a distraction to read the chat, which is why the thing I like about the car is I can use my Windows laptop and a screen reader to read the chat window to me, so that I don't have to actually look at the phone. But if looking at the phone, that would be kind of distracting. Yeah, I think that's the case, John DeComo. I think they do like me and they don't want to deal with having somebody else.
John DeComo, that home did not go through. So what I'd like to do is I would like to get an apartment in New Hampshire and then buy a house after getting some cheap short-term apartment. The problem with the apartments is that 99% of the apartments I looked at in New Hampshire, they want a 1 year lease. And I don't want a 1 year lease. I want a month to month or a 2 or 3 month so that I'm there just long enough that I can shop for a house without having to sleep on the couch of somebody that, is from the Free State Project. At this point, I'm probably just gonna beg someone from the Free State Project to let me sleep on their couch for 3 months. That's kind of what that's kind of where this is going. How is the light turning green if you don't honk at it? Go from peaceful location outside of New York City to honking. That's the thing. Like, by the way, the entire time that I was in New Hampshire, I didn't hear a car honk once. Not a single honk the entire time I was in New Hampshire. No honking. What's happening with my camera? Oh. No honking the whole time in New Hampshire. And like here, everybody just drives like a cunt. I mean, like just the fact that you could be sitting at a red light and somebody is honking at you at the red light for not going forward, they're absolute pieces. Like, it, if I was in a car, admittedly, I'd probably have road rage in that situation. The thing that I love about having a bike, and this is why I like having a bike instead of a car, is I don't have road rage in that situation. Like, I curse and then I laugh and then I just go in front of you. In a car, I would actually be stuck. I would be stuck in a little prison with all these people that are driving like shit, and it would drive me crazy. So what I love about having a bike, it's like, oh, you're doing something dumb. I'm just gonna whoop 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 whoop, just go right in front of you, just right in front of you. Let's see. Vince, what you're saying you never got an answer to is what I spent the first 15 minutes of this stream on. Uh, Thoughts on Flossie Carter? I don't know what that is. You mean like floss? Is there somebody start a floss brand or? Oh, thank you, Steve. If it was a hard drive data recovery, thank Chris, Orhan, and Steve. And if it was a phone data recovery, thank David. But don't thank me. I don't do shit. Imagine how much money you could save if you lived inside the pond. Yeah, but I have to get gills to live inside a pond, I imagine. Filmed on potato. Oh, that's AT&T. So I use AT&T. AT&T is trash, but admittedly Verizon's also trash. Yeah, this is AT&T phone service, by the way. Okay, I'm up to 258 in comments. Create your own town or community of workers. Louisville. He's suggesting I go to Kentucky. Just don't quit reading and writing. I'm not reading and writing. If I'm sitting still at a red light, I'll read, but I don't read while I'm writing. I don't want to die. If you guys think I could read and write, I would be fucking dead. I don't have the skill as either as a motorcycle rider or as a cyclist or as an e-bike rider to read my screen in New York City traffic. I mean, I almost take that as a compliment if you thought that I was actually reading this while I was moving. I would only read this if I was at a red for about 2 seconds at a time, not long enough that I can't look up and see what other people are saying. I mean, see if the light's turning. But yeah, I can't ride and read at the same time. I would be dead. I'd be dead actually. What hubs? What is he talking about? Google Hub Motor. The Discord invite is invalid. Yep, and it will always will be. It always will be. The gearing work is a distraction from safe driving. I don't think so because like at some point it becomes second nature. Like your brain is not really processing it. Like when you're walking, when you first started walking when you were 1 or 2 years old, you probably had to think about it a lot so that you wouldn't fall down. And then at this point, you're not really distracting yourself from what you're doing by walking. It just kind of becomes second nature. And I think for people that drive a manual, a lot of it just becomes second nature. This is not Mr. Clinton's scratching post. This is what's his name? Leo, Steve's cat. Why is the quality so low? AT&T. I pay $100 a month for this AT&T plan. AT&T is trash. Why did you not just keep a small office in New York where you just take foot business that you ship back to your central out of New York warehouse? Because that's a garbage business model. That's a trash business model, and it's probably that nobody wants to deal with that. People want to go to some place and know that that's the place that's fixing their stuff. The model of we don't know what the fuck we're doing, we're just here to like smile at you and jerk you off, and we're gonna mail it somewhere else. There's a business model that exists that does that. It's called the Genius Bar. So when you go to Apple, the person who takes your computer has no idea what the fuck is going on. It cannot explain anything to you, cannot answer your questions, cannot fix anything, and then they ship it somewhere else. That's the Apple Store's business model. I'm not the Apple Store. I'm Rossman Repair Group. And as long as Rossman Repair Group is a different company than Apple Inc., I'm not going to have that shit business model. Aren't you risking your life on the bike in those streets? Not really. Watch I watched the stream from beginning to end and I don't get it. How much off rent are you getting? That's for me to know, and that's that. All you need to know is I got an arrangement that I am happy with. I'll leave it at that. I have an arrangement that I'm happy with. And I suggest that you get an arrangement that you're happy with from your landlord. Every driver agrees that 99% of people can't read and ride at the same time. Unfortunately, 99% of the drivers also agree that they are in the 1% that can. Yes. I have not tried a trike. How much rent do you pay now versus before? An amount that I am okay with. An amount that I'm okay with. I'll leave it at that. I suggest that you speak to your landlord and get an amount that you're okay with too. Did you have to sign an NDA? I pay an amount that I'm okay with. Okay, I'll see you all later. Sad to see transparency go out the window with Rossman Realty. Oh well. I'll give you a full refund on your subscription. Email Lewis at rossmangroup.com. Email Lewis at rossmangroup.com. I will give you a full refund on your subscription to Rossman Realty. The thick leprechaun helped you. The thick leprechaun. The thick leprechaun was something else. There were a lot of thick leprechauns out last night, if you know what I mean. All right. I'll see you all later. See you.